We will start now. So yesterday we did HTML, CSS, and CSS, Flexbox, and Grid. And today we will start with JavaScript. JavaScript is used to add interactivity to any web application. Hope you are all able to hear me. And with JavaScript only means today the world moves on JavaScript. And if you want to get a job anywhere or you want to do anything, you have to learn a JavaScript framework like React, Angular, or Vue. Mostly React, because React is way ahead. But for learning React, you have to know JavaScript and the version of it, which is known as ES6, which is modern JavaScript, which is in 2015, which is released in 2015. And I'm going to do that also, ES6 also. And today, our whole course is like we are going to learn about JavaScript, then a bit about DOM, then ES6, and then a small project we are going to do, and we'll end today's session, today's bootcamp. So let's get started with JavaScript. So JavaScript is very easy to learn, and hello, just a sec. But is there some disturbance? Means my microphone is all totally good actually. Still some disturbance is there because I'm not hearing anything. Okay. So we are going to use JSBin. This is like JS Fiddle and all only, and I have opened JavaScript and console. Or else we have to check it in the DOM and check it in the console. So it's better to check it in some tools because we are not going to use much. So let's get started. And we're going to start with JavaScript. So first we'll learn about C. In JavaScript, we can do console.log of hello JavaScript. If I do and run it, JSBin. So hello JavaScript will say hello JavaScript will be done if I do a console.log. Okay. So similar to this is how we console.log, and this is how we developers do a lot of console.log. This is not for some other person. So now JavaScript variables, just like any other language, if you know any other language, JavaScript also have variables. So it is var, let, and const. So var was there since the beginning of JavaScript in 1996, and let and const were added in 2015. So var has a problem that it is a functional scope. See, any language, if you go, that is not functional scope, it is a blocked scope, and we will see the problem is what is a functional scope and what is a blocked scope soon. So first let's learn how to create these variables. We remove this, and we are creating variables, but like with var f name. So this is camel case. This is known as camel case. The first is a small, and whenever we change something, it is capital. This is known as camel case. Bindu. Then we have another thing, let L name equal to Viswas. Okay, so let L name is also there. Okay, means let is there. So if you see, it doesn't seem like anything different is there, but there are differences which you will see. Full name, clear it and run it. So it will show nothing difference is there. But now we'll see what is the difference in var and why we are saying that it is a functional scope and not a blocked scope. Okay, so we will see that issue. So we'll learn about if statement also soon. So if I give a if true and var of num1 equal to 10, okay, and console.log inside if var plus num1. So this is how we do console.log of some variable. So I'll do this like this, and outside if var if I will explain later on. Just now it is a conditional. So I'll explain later on when I will explain. Just now you can see if this condition is true, it will come inside, and I have just passing a boolean true, so it is showing that. Okay, so I'll comment this out and I will run it. So it will give me value of both of these things. Okay, but the problem is that in most other language this will fail, because the scope, there are some scoping is there for a variable. The scope of the variable will be from here till here. So num1 will be from here till here. It won't be outside, but it is not failing in Java, failing with var. So let us do the same thing with let. If I'm giving let, and let me comment this out. This is how I comment this out, clear it, and it is giving this error. So let was introduced recently to solve this issue only, because in any other language like C, C++, Java, if you go and inside a block you give something, it will give error. Okay, but what is a functional scope? Okay, so functional scope is, suppose I put everything inside a function, then it will be scoped like function. So functions are written like this. This again I will explain later on. Var exp like this, and but the one thing is that I have to also call this function. So function calling is generally like this, call like this, clear it and run it, and I will give an error, because now the num is ending here only, inside the function only it is ending. So this is what is known as var is a functional scope, not a block scope like let, and this was the issue. Okay, so another thing is there that let us quickly see what const is also. So const is, we cannot change the value of const. We'll see a bit later on when you do ES6, because const and let were introduced in ES6. So const num4 equal to 34 and num4 equal to 35, and do console.log num4 I am doing. Okay. So this is not allowed in const. It is allowed in let and var, but it is not allowed in const, that we can change the values. We cannot change the value like this in const. Okay, so this is the difference. Now we will learn about the data types. I'll open another window, JSBin, JavaScript and console I will take, and here every language have a data type. So JavaScript also have a data type, but in JavaScript the data type we don't assign it to the to the this variable. It automatically picks it up. Okay, so in, if you know C or C++ or Java, you write something like string or something like that, you write it string integer, but here we don't write it, we mention it, and the compiler sees what is on there in the other side, and it will add it like that only. So JavaScript have 6 primitive data types, and they are 6 primitive data type, and they are string, number, boolean. So these are the data types. These are the data type: string, number, boolean, null, undefined, and symbol. So string, number, boolean are obvious what they are. Null and undefined I will tell. And the symbol is something which is a bit complicated thing, and it is not used that much, so it is beyond the scope of this session, and it is not that much used, but it is something which is introduced in ES6, and it is for unique array or some array, something like that. So we'll see into all this first 5 only. So a string is a string, like it's a single quote, you can give double quote, you can give. So in the numbers, you can have full number, integer number also, and float also. JavaScript, we don't have a float variable like this, like in other languages. Just everything is, if you give it number, it is number. The fourth is boolean, which is obvious true or false. But the fifth one is null, and the fourth one is null, and fifth one is undefined. So both of them are the same, actually, to an extent. At both of them represent empty values. Both of them represent empty values, but it is null is empty value assigned by the user. A lot of time, what we will require, we need to assign null to something, means nothing. So that time the user, we programmer only will assign the null to it. But undefined is something which is assigned by the compiler. Means if you leave something blank, it will be assigned undefined. So let us get started. So first thing, const name into const age into 29, const rating to 5.5, const is developer equal to true, const x equal to null, const y equal to undefined, and let z I'll do. Now there is a function known as a type of operator in JavaScript, which is what is the type of this thing. So I will check the type of it by this console.log type of name So let me give all of this. Age, rating is developer, X, Y, Z. I'll do and I'll run it. Okay. So type of name is string, which is obvious. Type of age is number. This is also number. This is Boolean. Type of null is object, will come to it. Type of y is undefined, and type of z is also undefined. So as I've told earlier, if you don't assign any value to anything, what happens, the compiler assign the value and it is generally undefined. Okay, it is undefined. So after that, why null is object, type of null is object. See, it should have been null, but this is a bug in JavaScript which cannot be fixed because JavaScript runs the whole world. So what happened in 1995, JavaScript was created in 7 days. So there were a lot of bugs in it, and because it have to be shipped with some browser, which was there, Mozilla browser, which was there. So I have told us if the difference between null and undefined, I think. Okay, I will tell again the difference between null and undefined. The difference between null and undefined is that null is a value assigned by the user, and undefined is generally both of them means empty values only. Both of them are empty values, but null is assigned by the user, and your undefined is assigned by the compiler. Means if you don't do anything. This is a very good example. Suppose you fill a form and in which some field is there in which you write any, not accountable, any, that you can think as a null, and there are some field which you just leave blank, that is undefined. So that means that is undefined, and then the processor or the person who's seeing that form, he will know that this is undefined. But sometimes you have to write NA, means you don't have a middle name, then you will write NA, something like that. Okay, so yeah, I was telling that type of access and object, this is a bug in JavaScript, and that cannot be solved, or else a lot of the web pages which were creating in the starting of the internet, yeah, there are still web pages which are 20-30 years old. They will break because some developer must have checked that whether null is equal to object. So that's why they don't change it. So for that, we'll learn about some string methods. We'll learn about some string method, which is const str equal to hello Java script, and console.log str.length. So they are some of the string method, and you can learn about all the string methods through the MDN. So there is a string methods MDN. MDN is the most popular directory, which in full form is Mozilla Developer Network, and it is a bit more advanced, but it is a much better documentation. It has done W3 schools, so you can find all the string methods. So string have certain methods, so you can find all the string methods here. So str.length is one of the string method. Then I will str dot to upper case is another string method. So str dot length, give me the length, which is 16. To uppercase is, it is changing everything to your uppercase. And similarly, there is two lowercase also is there, which I will clear and run, which is change everything to a lowercase. Then there is str dot sub string 0,7. I will do, so it gives the substring. Okay, it will give the substring like this, hello J, it will give it. Now there is another thing, like there are many other methods are there, and you can check them on. I'm only telling about the main method. So str dot includes is there, which I will do Java. So it checks whether it is present or not, and it will give true or false depending on that. So Java was present because this is present. Overall I'll do, and it is false. Okay, because it is nowhere there, it is there like this. Okay, so now we will learn about arrays. Arrays are a very important data structure in JavaScript or any other language. Arrays are there in almost all the languages. Okay, so array we will learn. An array, there is a difference between JavaScript and another array, because in other language array like Java or C++, you have to give the data type. Like it is an integer array, that it will contain integer. It is a string array, it will contain string. But here it doesn't happen like that. You can have anything. Substring, it took out the substring from 0 to 7. 1 2 0 1 2 3 4 5 6. So there are methods are there through which you can take out substring. So it took it out here. Lang equal to Java script. So we are looking into the now arrays C++. comma Golang, comma Kotlin, comma 5, comma true, like this. Okay. Lang I will do, and so in JavaScript or in any other languages, if you want to access some element, we do it like this. Means it starts from 0. Even the string will start from 0. That's why when we do this hello j, we give 0 to 7 in the substring. So it also starts from 0. This is 0, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Like index are always starts from 0. So if I give this as 2, and let me comment this out, or comment this out, clear it, run it. So it will give me, first one will give me, this console will give me all the element, and this one will give me the second one. This is 0, 1, 2. Okay, this one will give me the second one. So now we will learn about there are some array methods. Actually there are a lot of array methods, but let's learn about first the main array methods and then some more. Okay, so we can add something in a array like lang 3 equal to C, and console.log lang. See what happened? It added this C also at index 3. It added the C at index 3, and lang dot pop. So now we'll see another things. Means there is a function dot pop, function as pop. So lang is the array thing. Lang dot pop, it removes element from the end of the array. So what it will do? Removes element from end. Okay, so similarly I can do a lang dot pop again also, because I want to remove two things. So I am doing it again, and after that I will do this. Okay, clear. So see, this one is the console log. So 5 and true are removed. Okay, so similarly we can add element to the end of the array with lang dot push Pascal and lang dot unshift. So this one, lang dot push Pascal, is adds element to end, and this one adds element to start. So see, this one added where is it? Yeah, actually we got this Pascal added at the end and shift added at the start. So this did like this. And similarly we have another thing also, which is lang dot shift. Lang dot shift is there, which will remove element from the start. So it remove the shift, but the most common uses are the pop and push only. Pop to remove from the end, and add element to the end, because that is the most normal use case. So now Let's open another JSPN. So again, I will take this, and there are certain methods are there. Let me show those method. And the first one is array dot is array lang. Okay, so I will check that this checks whether the passed in element is an array or not. So it is required a lot in programming when you need to check that whether something passes array or not. Array dot is array is it is true, but suppose instead of the array I will pass like a string, it will give me false. Okay, so this is there. And then lang dot includes. So we have some other method like golang. Again, lang dot includes golang. We have seen this in a string also. So golang is included, it's a true, and Pascal is not there, so it is false. Actually, Asif, I've told array actually sometime back. Okay, so array is a collection of elements. So in this square bracket, you have to give. Array is a collection of element. In the square bracket, you have to give, and you can have different elements here, and everything is accessed by means lang means indexes. So that is known as an array. And actually I cannot go that much in detail because it's a very mini boot camp, and if you want I can explain it to you later on, means have some courses. So array is basically a collection of elements. In short term, array is a collection of elements, and it is the most common used data structure in any language or on the planet also, because this is how the data are structured. So it can be in Java, in our JavaScript. It can be, we can have different data types like string, number, boolean, anything. So, and we are seeing about different, because if you don't understand array, you will not understand programming. Array is the most important thing in programming, so you have to learn about it more. Go through W3 school or some other places, or else I can explain it in some other place. Because after array, which we are going to learn, which is about object, which is even more tougher. Okay, so we are going to now learn about objects. And objects are basically, they're the second most popular data structure in JavaScript world also, and in other languages also, which are used to store variables. So everything is used to store something, store values in the key value format. One is a key and another one is value. And the thing is that they can be, the value can be anything. Value can be another string, value can be another array, number, or anything. So we are directly going to see a complex type of object. Okay, so we are going to see the objects. And const person equal to f name is comma. So this is a very common example of an object which have a, this is known as key, fname, lname, they are known as key, and this is known as value. Nabindu or Biswas, these are known as value. So this is another way to store something. So store data in this order, and this is array is also a way to store data in that order. So like this, if I do, and then if I do console.log of person, then it will give me, so there is some issue here. So object should not come. Yeah, it will give me first name and last name, and we generally access it through, we want to access something, then there are two ways to access. One is through dot name f name. In the array world, we were accessing by the dot notation, this dot. Actually this is the way to access an array, bracket notation. And array and objects, there is one way like this we'll access, and it will give me. And then there is another way, which is person, the bracket notation again, al name, but we generally prefer the dot notation. That is much clear. So this will also give me visual. So these are the two ways in to access a element of an array, so of an object. Okay, so now we will learn about loops. Okay, we'll learn about loops. So loops, and after that the conditions we are going to learn about. So loops are an essential part of any programming language, and this is the time when something gets very complicated. A lot of people find this place very complicated, so we'll understand that. So the first thing which we are going to understand is a traditional for loop. Traditional for loop, because this is there in every other programming language. So what does loops do? As the word suggests, loops means is looping through something continuously again and again till some condition is there, or if the condition is not fulfilled, then it will become a infinite loop if you are not able to push. Yeah, it is obvious, this differentiation between arrays and object, as if this is the square bracket, this is the bracket is curly bracket, and see this, what I have done here. This is not a key value pair, this is just a string, this is a key value pair. Okay, so this is the difference. Obviously if you see it, the difference has been shown, means it is obvious. Okay, okay, so now we will look into loops. So loops, we'll first look into for loop, which is a traditional way of loop. And as I told, what loop will do, for let I equal to 0, I is less than equal to 10, I plus plus, and then console.log loop number is like this. Here, run it, and it will give me the loop number. Now we'll understand how this ran. Okay, so for loop, this for loop is there in almost every programming language. And how did it run? So first it came inside it, and it is making let I equal to 0. So it is initializing a variable I which is equal to 0, then I is less than equal to 10. It is making I is less than equal to 10. It is checking whether I is really less than equal to 10, which is true, because I is 0 right now. 0 is less than equal to 10, it is true. Then it will go down. The moment it sees this, it will go down, and execute the statement which is inside the curly bracket. So it will execute this loop number 0, it will execute. So this is a way to take a string. So this we'll learn in ES6 also a bit more. So this is a way which we can show the I value in this dollar, and this thing we'll learn about it. Okay, so it will show, or you can do one thing, means right now let's not learn about it. You can give it like this also. Okay, it is taking it to the next line. I think plus also you can give. Okay, so it is okay. So loop number, it is showing 0, 1, 2, 10. Okay, this all these things here it is showing, and I was telling that I will not tell how it works again. So wait a sec, I will telling. So let I equal to 0, let I is less than equal to 10. Okay, so what it will do, first it will go in I equal to 0, and 0 is less than equal to 10, it will do, and it will then go inside and press means do this 0. Okay, so it will print this 0. Then after that it comes through the right hand side. Okay, it comes through the right hand side, and it will do the I plus plus, and I plus plus simply means, the full form is I equal to I plus 1. I equal to I plus 1. Full form of I plus plus is I equal to I plus 1. So it will make the I as 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. Then it will come from the right side only, means from here it will come here, and it will check 1 is less than equal to 10. Yes, it is true. It will again come down. It will not again do this let I equal to 0. That is done only for the first time, and first time we don't check this condition also. So then it will move from here. First time it will come from here, here, down. Next time it will come from here, here, down. So it will go on continuously revolving, going, and every time I will be increased. So once I become 10, 10 is less than equal to 10, which is again true, it will print it. Then it will come up 11. 11 is less than equal to 10. No, it is not true. 11 is not less than equal to 10, and it will exit the loop. So this is how loops work, and this is how exactly the traditional for loop works. Okay, so traditional for loop, as you can see, it might be a bit confusing also, but there is another loop, the while loop. Okay, so for while loop we are going to change the same traditional for loop which you are seeing here. We are going to change it into a while loop, and it will be much more clearer in that. So in while loop, the initialization also I'll do at the top like this, and then while I is less than equal to 10, I'll do, then I will have this console log, then I will have I plus plus. So this is the exact way in which we are going to do. I equal to 0, I is less than 10, so 0 is less than equal to 10, then console.log loop, I plus plus, it will make it as 1, then it will again go up, it will keep on executing it until it will become 11, and it will keep on executing. Both of the loops are doing the same thing, but it is much easier and cleaner to understand also. Okay, so this is done. Now we will look into conditional. So you are asking about if statement, we will look into the if statement now. Okay, so let me go into the if statements now. And so if statements are not like conditionals. So their conditionals are, we are looping through something continuously. What is the if statement? If statement, if something is true, then it will execute or it will not execute. It will not go on in loops or something like that. So most common if statement is the most common conditional is the if statement. So first see that const x equal to 10, and if x equal to 10, then console dot log x is 10. I'll do clear, run it, and it will do x is 10, because what is there, x is it will just check 10 equal to 10. So double equal to is there. There is a triple equal to also, but let us stick to double equal to now, because we are going to learn a lot of things in a very small time. Okay, so x is double equal to 10, 10 is double equal to 10. If I can change it to 11, so now it will not even run, because it has not even come inside it. It will not even run because it has not come inside it. So there is else part also. Else part also is there, and where console.log y is not 10. If I give and run it, so it is x is not 10, it will print x is not 10. So this is the if else statement. Okay, so another thing is there. So we have else if statements also, if else if statement. So let us quickly check that. Const z equal to 60. Okay, then if z is greater than 100, I will check, I will print console.log z is greater than 100, else if z is greater than 80, then console.log z is greater than 80. Again, I can have else if z is greater than 60, then z is greater than 60, else z is less than 20. We are going to do, okay, it should give the codes every time. Okay, so what it will check. So first it will take z is greater than 100, which is not true, so it will not, then it will go to the next else part. It is also not true, this is also not true, and this is true. It will print the else part. Z is less than 60. Okay, less than, let it be 59. Okay, so it will print only one statement, which is z is less than 60. This is how if else if statement works. Okay, and then then there is one more thing, which is conditional continued. Means we can have something like or and also here in a conditional. I'll tell about that. and if const x equal to 20 and const y equal to 30, if x is double equal to 20 or y is double equal to 40, then console.log any one of any one of the statement is true, and so here what is happening, no, the recordings won't be shared. I will tell after the thing when how will be the recording be shared. So it is so it will tell any of one of the statement is true because x is it will check whether one of this thing is there, means x double equal to 20 or y double equal any one of the statement. If any of one of the statement is true, it will be true. So see, this statement is false, this statement is false. Okay, but it doesn't care because double pipe means or, so it will be or y equal to 40. Okay, so there is another, if x, the same thing which we are going to check actually. Some part of this call will on my YouTube channel, but not all of it. Okay, so x equal double equal to 20 and y double equal to 40, and both the statement, both of the statement are true. So for this to run, both of them should be true, which is not the case because this is true, but this is false. So that's why it didn't run. If you want to check what happened, then we can pass this and we can check. Any of the one of the statement is, both of the statement, any of the statement maybe is not true, like this. Okay, so like this, any one of the statement is not true. Okay, so like this, but I will share the code as I have shared yesterday also. The code I will share. Okay, so now we will look into functions. So JavaScript functions. So JavaScript, there are many different ways to create a function. So we will learn about them different ways, and some of them are quite new. So there are actually 4 methods to create function. We'll look into those 4 methods. Method number 1 is function declaration. It is known as function declaration. This function add nums num1 comma num2 and console.log num1 plus num2 okay, num1 plus num2. Okay, so this is the most common way to create a function. Add nums 20 30. Okay, so what is happening, we use the keyword functions in addnums. We will create this addnum, this functions, addnum is a function name which is taking two parameters num1 and num2 and just adding them, num plus 2, 20 plus 30, it will become 50. So these are known as parameters. So it is taking the parameters and just adding them. So this is one way to create a function. We use a function keyword in JavaScript. So the method number 2 is const multi nums. So here what we are doing, we are declaring a variable, and then so this thing is only possible in JavaScript. No other languages it is possible. So this is because JavaScript functions are given a special place, so that is why this is known as function expression. And then okay, sometime we can return also something, return, and especially in this cases num1 into num2 I'm returning. Okay, then since I'm returning means this, I have to catch it in something. So anyways, so I will do a console.log of multi nums, and I will give 20 comma 30. I will give, run it, and it will give me 600. So this is another way in which we make something equal to the function, and then we can, it is exactly like this only, but in JavaScript we can make it equal to this. So this is another function expression. So this is the second method, and the method number 3 is const mod nums equal to num1 comma num2. Okay, this is known as arrow functions. Okay, so here what happens, the same thing is there. So this function expression is there, but we don't give the function keyword also. We make it as a fat arrow. This is known as fat arrow, equal to and greater than, and then we can do the same thing. Let us do modulus now, which returns the remainder. Modulus percentage num2 I'll do, and console.log, and mod nums I will going to do, and run it. It will give me 20. Okay, or maybe if I do 30 by 20, it will give me 10. Okay, so it is like this. So this is arrow functions. It is exactly similar to function expression, but here we have a equal to and greater than. Okay, so this is the method number 3, and there is a method number 4 also is there, which is const div num equal to num divided by 5 div num. So this is the condensed type of a function, which is like we don't even have to write this return statement and all if we are using arrow function, and if there is only one argument. See, we are not even giving the brackets, but that happens only if there is one argument, and we don't have to give the curly bracket and the return statement also in arrow functions. So this is one of the way, and console.log of div num and maybe 55, clear it, run it, and it will give me 11. So like this is the 4 ways. Okay, so with this means I've taught the JavaScript part. Now there is another thing. So the JavaScript is this much only. There are a lot of other things are there, and I have told the important things only, but there's not much beyond this in JavaScript. And but now we'll see DOM manipulation, which is again very important. DOM manipulations, and DOM manipulations are the way in which we really will work with JavaScript. Okay, so DOM manipulations are the real way. Okay, so okay, I will share the GitHub links just like yesterday I shared in the Telegram group. I will share today also in the Telegram group the GitHub link. So hope you all are there in the Telegram group, which I have told yesterday to be a part of. So I will share again in the Telegram group. So those who are not there in the Telegram group and new, the fourth method, if we add two parameters, yeah, if we add two parameters, we have to use brackets like this. Like if I we have to use bracket like this if we add two parameters in this method also, because or else this comma will not go well. Then I have to do something like this, num1 and num2 and whatever. The same thing we can do it in here like this. Okay. So what I was telling that all this code will be there in my Telegram group, and so do please. And the next session there will be a break soon of 15 minutes. After that there will be second session will be there. So this Zoom meeting will be ended, and the second Zoom meeting link also I will give on my Telegram group and on my Facebook group. So join at both places. So these are the part for joining the Telegram and the Facebook. So join both of these places I will give. Okay, so now we will look into one very important concept, which is the DOM manipulation, and this is the main way through which you will going to work. Okay, work with JavaScript. If you're going to work with JavaScript, so kdir DOM basics cd DOM basics I'm going to do, and I'll open it with VS Code this time. Okay, I'm opening it with VS Code, and here I'm going to have a index.html, style.css, and main.js. I'm going to have command you were typing. Just write it mkdir. This is just a Windows machine, but you should know this much commands are safe. Mkdir I did, or else if you don't know this much command, just right click and create a folder. I did a cd. This is a VS Code shortcut which you can do with code and dot. We can do if VS Code is installed and there is something like you have to import somewhere. I don't remember the path in VS Code, and you can directly open VS Code from there. Okay. So this is index.html, and since it is today's JavaScript day, so I will not go much through it. So not and tab, it will give me this, and here DOM basics I'll do, save it, and link the style sheet, link the style.css, and at the end we have to add the script also. Script we always add at the end, script file, script, and this main.js I'll do. So main.js which I have created will do like this, and I'm not going to type much because we are going to learn about JavaScript now. Okay, it is not formatted well. So we have a header tag which have a h1. So see, this one thing I think I have not told yesterday because it was a short course. Header tag is there, section tag. Yesterday someone was asking about what is a div and all, means why we use div. So here also we could have used div, one div here, one div here, but we are using header and sections. These are known as semantic tag. Div generally doesn't mean anything into the browser, also it doesn't mean anything. And there is something known as accessibility, which is the accessing the web for the people who cannot see properly. So they use something known as screen readers, and those screen readers cannot understand div properly. So they, if a header comes, so they read aloud that now a header is there, now a section part is there. So that is the reason. Nowadays a lot of focus is on accessibility. So this is what header is there, section is there, like that it is there. Now I've just created a basic HTML with h1, then a section is there which has got a class of container, then inside that there is a form is there. Form is always a very important thing, in which h1 again is there, add user, message is there, just an empty div. We are soon going to use it. This div, again a div for label, email, input type button is there, and another list is there which is empty, and this is, we have commented it out, we are soon going to use it, this part. Okay, and then this main.js is there. Now I'll open it with live server, as I've told yesterday also, means with live server we can directly open it, so that we don't have to refresh it every time, and it will show us like this. And similarly, as we are going to concentrate more on JavaScript today, so I will copy the CSS part also, because again there will be a lot of CSS. Okay, so you all can go through the CSS, because the code I am going to provide it on the Telegram group. Okay, so main and all those things are there, some header, my form, label, my form input, button given some hover error we are going to use. So save it, and it will show a very good form here, like this it will show. Now it is time to go to JavaScript and DOM, the main thing. So this is connected, and now console log I will do window. So there is a window object is there. Okay, there is a window object is there. Let me save it. And console log in the browser we always check in the inspect. So the window object is there. If I expand this window object, it has got so many properties like alert and all those things. So we get access to a lot of browser properties in here. So window means just Windows. We have got access to all these things, and we are going to manipulate a lot of these things. Okay, alert. Then there is something known as document is also there. Yeah, this document is very important. So document dot, we can access anything in this thing with the document thing. Okay, we can access anything. So let's go back and now starts coding. Okay, so there are through JavaScript we access various DOM element and we manipulate them and do a lot of stuff there. So I want to grab a single element. So grab single element is there, const form equal to document dot get element by id, and my form I'll do. And what is this my form? My form is the id known as ID in the form which is known as my form. So with this, document.get element by ID is again a JavaScript thing. My form, I can get access to that my form. So and I'm assigning it to a variable, and then CLG, okay, form I'll do and save it. If I go back, see, if I go back, see, the form ID got selected. It means the whole of the form got selected, and now I can do anything on it. The whole of form got selected and I can do anything on it. This console log is telling that. Okay. Now this is a grab a single element. So there is another way to grab a single element. We'll know, we will check that. So directly, instead of writing in a variable and doing console log, let me do the console.log here only. And it is known as document dot query selector dot container. I'll do, and document dot query selector and h1 I'll do. Okay. So dot container and h1. So dot container is, there is a class called container. So query selector, you have to give the class name also. See, because in get element by ID, I'm telling that I have to get the element by ID, but here it doesn't know query selector is what. So if I select some class, I have to give the dot container. Is whatever the class name is there with a dot. If hash, I have to give, if ID, I have to give a hash, and I can select direct h1 also. So then I have to don't give anything like this. I have to give, and if I now come back, so let's see, this container is also selected. This h1 part is also selected. Okay. Now we will, let us uncomment this part, and if I disconnect like this. Okay. So we've uncommented that part and path, and it will be shown here. Now we will learn how to select multiple item. It is CLG document dot query selector all dot item. Okay. So see, all of this are there dot item, and so I am selecting this dot item. Okay, and then save it, and then, so this is to select multiple items. So we have multiple item with the class name of item. So now I will go to the console log and see something known as node list is coming. So node list is, if you can see, there is a bracket is there. It is something like array, but not array, but it has got a lot of array properties, but it is some data type like array only, because the square bracket is there. So we can now get, it means, and we can now get different values we can get, and it is storing it as an array. So this all items, it will store it as an array. Okay. So now there are two other things through which we can select multiple items. We'll see those two other things through which you can select multiple items. One is document dot get element by class name. So document dot get element. Okay, it is elements. One more thing is that there is a document dot get element also is there. This s is very important. Document dot get elements by class name, and it is item. it will be there item, and similarly clg document dot get element by tag name. Again there is elements is there by tag name, and if I do it, so this item I am selecting this item, and this ally also I'm the same things I'm selecting multiple times in a different ways. So this one is a node list, and this one is a these two are HTML collection. They are also like array, but they also have a lot of array properties, but they have much lesser properties than node list. We'll soon see this thing, but they have. Okay, so how they have less properties to, like node list? Okay, so we will look into that. Let me comment this out and make it equal to some variable because I'm going to use it. Const node items equal to document dot query selector dot item, and const all items equal to document dot get element by class name of item will be there, and save it. And now I am so after this section, in the second session we are going to learn about ES6. So ES6 has a have an advanced form of for loop which is known as for each, and most of the time developers use that only because it contains the arrow function and all, and is very easy to write. So node items, which is generally a think what it was, node list, and it was a node list. So yeah, so node list have access to this for each, and I am going, as I've told you, I am going to tell in the second session about this for each. So for each is very powerful. IT I can give IT item, any name I can give, and console.log IT. And instead of writing the traditional for loop like for I, we are going to write that also. So like this, if I give and save it, so it will show all this thing like this, nice, like this it will show, means it is accessing it. Now similar thing I will try to do in a call item. Similar thing I will try to do, but it will give me error that call item is for each is not a function because it is not allowed there. So in this case, what we need to do, we need to add a, we need to use a traditional for loop like here, for let I equal to 0, I is less than call items dot length I plus plus, and console dot log call items I have to give. So it will loop through it and show it. So this is the normal way which we are going to give, and it is showing this one also, it is okay. So this is, it will correct, it will be correct. So normal for loop only we can use in HTML collections. Okay, so now one more thing, now we will look into the DOM manipulations, okay, which is very important. So DOM manipulations, we'll look into it. Me again comment this out. Const unordered list equal to document dot query selector dot items. I'll do. So items will query selector dot items. So what is dot item? The items is a class here. So I'm selecting this one, and there is something known as remove. So I can directly use ul dot remove to remove the whole thing. So this is so powerful. So it is removing this thing. So all these things can be removed. So let us go ahead. Okay, so now we will learn how to target this all these items and all. We are again I have given it back. So these items and all I am going to these items I'm going to target, and I'm going to change them. So that is known as DOM manipulation. We are changing them, and that is very important actually. So there are different ways to choose the exact thing which you want to target. Generally we want to target this text, whatever is inside this item 1, item 2, item 3. This we want to target, and we'll target it by ul. So we got that your thing complete items we have got in the ul dot first element child dot text content equal to html and ul dot children one dot. So okay, so this is another way. Inner text equal to css. Okay, so first is the first child dot text content. So what is the ul first child? First child is this one, and the second way we are targeting is ui dot children one. So anything starts with zero. So zero is this, one is this, like this array. So save it, and if I see html and css were changed. So this is how we do DOM manipulation also, which is so powerful. So similarly we'll change the last one also. Ul dot last element child dot inner html equal to. So if you give the inner html, we can pass in some html also. Like I will pass like h4, maybe h4 java script and h4 save it. And if I can see it is bold, or it is a bit bolder type of, and the text is bigger for h4. Okay, so this is there. And then similarly let us target this button also. So we'll target this button also. So const btn equal to document dot query selector, not selector all, it's called query selector dot button. I'll do save it. So I'm targeting the button or this thing. So it has got a class of button btn dot btn it has got. So I'm targeting the query selector dot btn, and now I can do anything with it. So once I select anything, I can do actually anything with btn dot style dot background color equal to blue is the btn dot style dot color is white. So this way we can change the css also. And just one thing to notice is that the background in css, it is background dash color. It is camel case we do because we have to make it as a one word. So it is like this here, and see the color got changed. So this is how powerful JavaScript it is there. We can change the HTML also, we can change the CSS also, even we can add HTML also through JavaScript. So we can manipulate the DOM like anything. Okay. So now one of the main thing of JavaScript is to look for events. And when JavaScript was invented, one of the main thing was when some user used to click on some button, the interaction, we need to figure it out. And today till date also, that is one of the main thing of JavaScript or its framework like React or Angular. That is one of the main thing, means to add interactivity to the browser, so or anything. So we'll look into the event listener now. So const button, okay, we already have this thing. Let me comment these things out. Okay, so now we'll do a btn dot add event listener, which is going to be click event listener, and then e we have to take. So this is something of a way in which we write a function. So this all is by default skeleton type of code. So we're adding an event listener, and this is known as an event. So click event. So this is also given to us by JavaScript. So like click event, there are mouse over and mouse down events and some other events also. The click one is the most important event. So it will keep on listening for a click event whenever we add something on it. And whenever we take the mouse and click over it, it will give us something. Oh, it's okay. So first thing we have to do is always e.prevent defaults, which is very important too, because or else it doesn't work the way it is meant to be. And clge we have to do, we do e. So if I click on it, see everything will come. So we can do a lot of tasks on it. And e dot, there is something known as target, which is very important. If I save it and if I do the target, so target is selecting the whole button, e dot target. Okay, so this is like this. So what I want to do is when the user clicks on this, I will do one thing, cut it and paste it here. What I'm going to do means right now it is item 1, item 2, item 3. When I click on it, it will get changed. So this is one of the way to do it. It get changed and like this. So now all of these things are there, but let us make this real form, real kind of a form. Okay, before this someone asked me what is prevent default. So that is a boilerplate code which you have to use or else it will not work. We have console log e gives us access to a lot of the thing like uh, e dot we are not using it right now, but we are soon going to use it. So you will learn about it here. What is e gives us access to everything, means whatever the user types or something. And e dot prevent default is required whenever we listen to a click events, or else it will try to submit it to some backend, which is not, we are not learning about backend code and all. So it refreshes the browser basically, and then it fails a lot of things. Now we will learn about a real type of a code. So a real type of a code means what happens here means suppose this is a login form and some user adds a name and email and then submit it, so it should get submitted. We're not going to do the backend or something, that is way the scope of anything. So we will, what we are going to see, we are going to see the way in which we can access this all these values. Okay, so let me comment all of this thing out. And we are going to now const my form equal to document dot query selector my form. Why it is not like this? So we're selecting this and document dot query selector. So there is a name is there, id name, email is there, id email. So we are going to do all this. Okay, query selector name, this one will be email, and name input, email input, and msg document dot query selector dot msg. So this dot msg is actually this msg which we have an empty div which we are soon going to use, and there is a empty ul for users also. We are going to select that also, and which is const user list equal to document dot query selector hash users. I'm going to do and save it. And now we will listen for the form submit. So form submits are also a different way. Since form is there, we can listen for the form submit is there, and there is a input button is there in which type is submit, means we can listen for that also. We can listen for on click also and listen for submit also. So we'll do this. My form dot add event listeners submit, and we can again do the same thing, create a inline function. This is sort of inline function, but we can do another thing also. We can create a function outside also. So we'll just write and submit, we'll write and function on submit e. So e will come here also, and here also we have to do e dot prevent defaults, and then we are going to do okay. So what we're going to do first, we are going to check first that whether the user have entered something or not, and whether they have just means just clicked on it without entering anything. So one thing I want to tell, console.log, if I take this name input dot value, if I take and save it, if I come here and submit it, so we can get the value like this, name input dot value, because we are selecting it with query selector. So we can take the value like this. So now what I want to check, whether the user had not entered anything, means if name input dot value is double equal to empty string, means the user have not entered anything, or email input dot value equal to like this, then it will be msg dot class list dot add error and msg. So what we are doing here, msg is the class list dot add error. So there is an error class here in the css file, error class is there. So I am, this class list command is lists all the class. So this msg is there, msg class is there. So in it, it will go. We are selecting this, actually this MSG, we're selecting this whole div, we are selecting with this command, msg document.query selector msg, we are selecting this complete, and then we are adding the error class to it. So already there is msg class, we're adding this error class also, which is the background of red and padding and all those things are there. Okay, so we're adding that, and then we are doing another thing, msg dot inner html equal to, please enter email name and email. Okay, so like this we have to enter all the fields, and let me save it. And if I come here, and if I, okay, one more thing I should do, to comment this out. Okay, so if I click here, see, and please enter a name and an email will be shown. Okay, but the problem is that it will not, it will be there until we refresh it, it will be there. So that is not a good user experience. So what we are going to do, we are going to remove it after 2 seconds. Okay, so we are going to remove it after 2 seconds. So there is something very good which is known as set timeout is there, like this, and then msg dot remove, we are going to do 5000 going to do. So what it is going to do, that same remove thing which we have seen earlier, it is going to remove it. Okay, 5000 is way too much, let me remove it after 3 seconds. It takes a millisecond, means 3000 milliseconds is 3 seconds. 5 seconds is actually a very long term. Let's let me save it, and now I click on it. So it will, 3 seconds is also long time. 1 2 3, yeah, 3, it is done. In 3 seconds it will go. So this is like this, it is gone. So now what I want to do, if the user have entered that thing, user has entered all those things, basically in real world scenario, if the user enter all those things and pressed on submit, I should submit it to the backend. I should submit it to the backend, but right now I can just do another thing. As I have told earlier, that with your with JavaScript you can even create HTML. So now we'll see how we can create also HTML. Else part time come and const li equal to document dot create element, document dot create element I'll do, and li I'll do document dot create element. Li means we are creating an element li, then li dot append child I'll do, li dot append child, which will be document dot create text node. Yeah, we have to create text node like this, input input name dot value, and plus like this email input dot value I can do. So what I am doing, li in li I am appending a child, and in it I have to create a text node, and I am whatever the user is inputting in name input or email input, I am putting it inside it. We will soon see what I am going to do. And then user list dot append child li. So what is this user list? User list is nothing but this one, this empty ul is there. So what we are basically doing, inside that empty ul we are creating a li list tag, we are creating inside that. Then after that we are done. Actually one more thing I will show. Okay, so we are done. If I come here, press my name, one of my another email, and then click on the submit, see both of them are shown. It's better to give this like this. Okay, one more thing I want to say is that, see, it stays here, and it is not a good user experience if it stays here. So what I'm going to do, After this is done, name input dot value is this, and empty string email input dot value is also empty string. So these two I have done. Now if I go back, see, this one will be gone and this one will be shown. Okay, so, and again something else also I can do, and it will be shown like this. Okay, so it is working, and with this we come into this DOM part also.